So, sir, very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the webinar on legal perspective pertaining to the election holiday for the industrial establishments, jointly organized by NHRD Coimbatore, TRICHY, HOSUR, and DDHRF. The next hour will be addressing the pressing queries from industry's practitioners with insights from our senior HR leader and legal expert. To all the participants and the NHRD and DDHRF torchbearers, your presence enriches this dialogue. Let's seek clarity together on the election holiday legalities. Thank you for joining us, and let's make this webinar a knowledgeable foundation for all. I request our Sendil K. Nathan to please introduce the guest speaker.
Good evening, all. And it's really a wonderful session for the day. I have been given an opportunity to introduce the resource person of this session, and he may not require any introduction, but still, it is the duty for me to introduce the resource person. He had been with training almost on his passion, right? Almost for 20 plus years. And he had worked with TCS, and is very strong in compliances. And especially I have a personal attachment towards him in learning many areas in POSH, prevention of sexual harassment, as well as contract labor, and many more things. So now he is going to handle a very wonderful and very timely session about election and provisions of giving holidays from the corporate side. So by this session, we'll be having a wonderful learning. So I take this opportunity to invite Dr. Israel Inbaraj for this wonderful session as a resource person. And over to Dr. Israel Inbaraj.
Thank you, Dr. Sindel, for the nice introduction. Thank you, Aruli. I would like to thank Vigila, who is the person first kicked off this initiative, the chapter president of TRICHY NHRD, and also the head HR of TVS Group company for his service centers, service areas, and Dr. Sangeeta of NHRD Coimbatore president, and Bhuvanesh, TRICHY chapter president, and DDHR of Radhakrishnan, Dindigul HR forum, HR leader actually, Mr. Radhakrishnan, and Prabhu, Dr. Sendilnathan, everybody, thanks for the efforts you have taken in driving this to get to know that, because I used to get a lot of calls continuously about the election holiday. What is the right approach? How do we proceed on that? So multiple calls started coming up. Then I started suggesting, okay, why don't we have a session so that people will have a clarity on what to be done, what is do's and don'ts with regard to election. So we will learn this, because being an evening, PowerPoint will be slightly boring. I also have a hard stop at next 1 hour. And we will have a learn through this Kahoot. We will understand through Kahoot, this gamified way of learning the process, which is very simple and easy, also interesting. So the link for joining the Kahoot survey, Kahoot quiz is given in the chat box. Maybe Aruli or Dr. Sendil can paste it again in the chat box so that new people also can click on that. Just enter your name, nickname, and short name. Nickname is your short name or first name. And so you will be able to join, and you can parallelly learn also. So once again, Aruli or Dr. Sendilnathan can copy the link and paste it in the chat box. Yes, please.
It is
all of you are requested. Thanks, Aruli. All of around 173 people are there. All of you are requested to join in this Kahoot quiz also parallelly. In addition to the Zoom you have joined, Kahoot quiz also you can join, which will help you to make your learning more effective now. First, people are joining. Okay, by the time I'll start, others who wants to join at any time by using the same link, they can join at any point of time. Let's start now with due respect for the people who have joined on time. So this is the first question. Election holiday. What is the legal perspective? And 1 plus 1. How much is that? Very, very important, difficult question. 1 plus 1. Is it 11 or 2 or 1 or none of the above? Aruli, are you able to hear me, Aruli?
Sir,
Because
you're audible.
yeah, because one
people
person,
have,
yeah.
Yeah, people who have any issues on audio, please log out and log in once again, please.
Yeah, Vikram also. Vikram Veena, if you wish to log in again, you can re-log in, because if my communication is able to, if I'm able to send it to Aruli, then it means that everybody is getting it. Technically speaking, I cannot send it to one person alone in Zoom call. My voice reaches for Aruli, one person, because almost we are sitting around 2,500 kilometers away, correct, Aruli, between you and me. So if I'm able to send the message to Aruli 2,500 kilometers, definitely all other people also should be able to hear that. So please ensure that you are logging out, log in if you are not able to hear it properly. And very good. 83 people are rightly saying. Still, some people are saying 1 plus 1 is 11. And 3 people are saying 1 plus 1. See, this is to test how you operate Kahoot. This is to test how do you operate Kahoot. So nothing to worry about the arithmetic ability on this now. Pragdish, congrats. Superb. 1 plus 1, 2 you have identified. Very good. Right. Which law governs declaration of paid holiday on a polling date? Which law governs declaration of paid holiday on a polling date? Negotiable Instrument Act, Representation of People Act 1951, Industrial Disputes Act 1947, all the above. You have to, Pramila, you have to go to your screen. You should not select my screen, then you will not be able to select it. Maybe I will hide my screen for a while, then you will understand what I'm saying. Now you see whichever screen Kahoot is visible, in that screen you can operate. If you are not logged in, please use the link for that, right? And it is about Representation of People Act is the act which governs the paid holiday for polling date. For example, to declare a holiday, government should have a power, because public sectors, other industries are, they have a choice of choosing the holiday, list of holidays, everything based on the NFH holidays. But which law is empowering the authorities to declare paid holiday for the polling date is Representation of People Act 1951. So that's the first one. Who should be given paid holiday for polling date? Who are all really eligible? Who are all entitled to get the paid holiday on a polling date? Not in the chat box. You are expected to respond in the Kahoot quiz, login and there. Only person entitled to vote. People who are all having entitlement vote on that polling day, then they are eligible to get the paid holiday on the day of polling date. Not all employees. Only person entitled to vote, who is having a voting right in that particular day, they are to be given paid holiday on the day of polling date. Number one. Kannan, superb. Kannan GMS, they are rightly answering. Who should be given paid holiday for polling date? Once again, the question is related. Question is same. Options are different. Only on-roll employees having voting rights. Includes trainees, apprentices having voting rights. Includes contract laborers, temps having voting rights. Question is same compared to the previous question, but the answer is different. Uma Rani, madam, you have to take your screen in control, not in my screen. Okay. 98 people are saying right. All employees having voting rights, which includes on-roll, off-roll, apprentice, trainees. If they have a voting rights on that particular day, they should be given paid holiday. Umarani madam is actually playing with my screen. You have to operate from your screen, madam. Right. Next one. Kannan, GMS is on top. We don't know who's GMS. General Monitoring Scheme, or how do we call it as GMS? Kannan, TRICHY, Priya, Saravana Kumar. Anyway, good. Let's move on. It is mandatory to close the is it mandatory? Sorry, it is not. Is it mandatory to close the establishment? It is mandatory to close the establishment factory on election day. It's a statement. It's not a question, it's a statement. Is it true or false? From your perspective, is it true or false? From your understanding. Right. So it is not necessary. Around 40 people are saying that has to be closed. No, it is not legal mandate. It is not mandatory to close the establishment. Nowhere law specifies for closure of establishment. It says only give paid holiday for those who is having a voting rights. It is not necessary to close establishment on that day. It is your choice. For example, you have a mix of people coming from different locations, hailing from different places, having the voting rights. Then you can run the factory for the persons who is not having voting right on that particular day, provided if there is a scope for you. Some places you cannot run with 100% man, without 100% or at least 80% manpower. So that's left to you. If you feel that majority of employees going on leave, you want to close it, you can close it. But closure of establishment, shutting down establishment or a factory or any business entity on that particular day is not at all required under this law. You are expected to, you are not expected, you are mandated to give only leave paid holiday for those who's having voting rights on that day. GMS again on top. Kannan, Priya, Saravana Kumar, Farooq. Holiday on polling date is not mandatory, whose absence may cause a danger or substantial loss. Holiday on polling date is not mandatory for those whose absence may cause danger or substantial loss to the business. So there is a kind of exception, though it is mandatory for giving a paid holiday, but from the business perspective, whose absence may cause danger or substantial loss, then you need not give the leave paid holiday for those people alone, but you should be able to justify that. Some states, they mandate that list of people who are mandatorily needed to work in their absence is going to cause danger or substantial loss. Then you have to give that list to the respective electoral offices appointed for this purpose. Some states are mandating that. So make sure that in exceptional case, you are using this. This is not just that everybody, you can't say that everybody is important, everybody is doing a very critical task, cannot be spared. So only people who are all having extremely critical, that should be justifiable as their absence may cause danger or substantial loss to the business. Only for those people, you are not mandated to give a paid holiday, but still explore the options to give a time off for them to go and vote and come back to exercise their democratic rights, right? Paid holiday is not compulsory for those employees who work in other shifts commence after the conclusion of the poll. Paid holiday is not compulsory for those who work in shifts after commencement of the conclusion of the poll. Like night shift employees, it is again false. Even people are working on night shifts also, even their shifts actually starting only after the closure of the poll time, still they are eligible to get this paid holiday. This also, there was one court judgment, High Court judgment. If I am right, it is Maharashtra Court, Goa bench. The judgment is given that people from other shifts also should be given paid holiday. It is permissible to give compensatory off instead of paid holidays on polling day. So this is a statement. Is a statement true or false? So 87 people are giving the right answer. 34 are giving wrong answers. This compensatory of giving substitution, all these things are giving overtime payout is not at all applicable. You have to give them paid holiday. Because the objective of paid holiday to exercise their voting rights, democratic rights. So by giving a compensation or by giving a compensatory off or by giving overtime, it's not going to be compensated. So it has to be given a paid holiday. So there is no such option available like a compensatory off or overtime, any other compensation. No such option is available. Possible impact of not declaring paid holiday on the polling date. What will happen? Penalties clauses there as per the Representation of People's Act. Bad publicity is in place. You know, I have seen companies, their names started coming in the media also, because sometimes media knows that they will come in front of the gate. They will focus this particular company is working on this day. Bad publicity both. Then it looked like that you are not supporting the democratic rights, which is available under this law. So penalty as well as bad publicity, both are these are damages impact if you are actually not giving paid holiday for the individuals who is having a voting right. Kannan, Ani, Sarana Kumar, Karuna, Dinesh. Okay. Holidays declared under, this is something slightly outside the context of election holiday, but still also it is better to know. Holidays declared under Negotiable Instrument Act doesn't apply to commercial establishment and factories. True or false? Holidays declared under Negotiable Instruments Act doesn't apply to commercial establishment and factories. Statement is true or false? True, because negotiable instrument is an act which is meant for like check, DD, those instruments, if their expiry date is closing on that particular day, if it is incidentally being a holiday, to extend the validity of that instruments, this law is actually giving a provision. It is not giving empowering authorities to declare holiday based on this law. This also, there is a post judgment on this again. Ani, Kannan, Karuna, Dinesh, Sarana Kumar. Whether Labor Authority have a jurisdiction to penalize ROP Act. It will go via the revenue department. It will go via the revenue department. Section 135B of Representation of People Act mandates paid holiday on polling date of Panchayat elections. What about Panchayat elections? These paid holidays clear about Lok Sabha election and legislative elections. What about Panchayat election? Is this act declaring holidays applicable for them, this paid holiday? Though it is slightly outside of this election, Lok Sabha election, but in general, Panchayat elections, yes, this act doesn't empower for declaring paid holiday on for the Panchayat election. Panchayat election is not covered, is not mandated to give the paid holiday under this act. Only Lok Sabha and parliamentary election and the legislative election, state legislative election. Whether employees can be engaged in night shifts as it may not affect exercising their democratic rights. Instead, you can consider this as yes or no also. True is equivalent to yes or false, yes. False is equivalent to no. Because it's a question. We have seen a related question prior to this. So same way, even if they are in night shifts also, they have a right to have their holiday on that particular day, right? Person having vote in Kerala, working in Ahmedabad, employer need to give paid holiday for polling day of Ahmedabad, polling day. Sorry, there is an error in this question. I missed to correct this. Sorry. You should, second option, you should read this polling day of Kerala. Blue is actually polling day of Kerala. The error in this question error is there. Okay, the message here is the day in which that particular person's voting right is there, that day you should give the holiday. For example, he may work in Ahmedabad, he may work in Mumbai, but his vote is there in Kerala. On the day of voting right in Kerala, that day you should give a paid holiday. Every person having a voting rights should be given on that particular day, right? Not on other days. And someone asked actually, sir, for traveling to that place, it takes time. Should we give for traveling? No, that is not legally mandated here. On the day of polling, you are expected to give you are mandated to give a paid holiday. So let's see the toppers, winners for the day. Ani and Saravana Kumar and good, they all already aware of this. Kannan and they're already aware. Karuna and Govind. Congrats, winners. Now, people who have questions may unmute, may raise your hand. Aruli, Avinash will unmute you. You can ask your questions relating to this election holiday. Raise the hand so that they will give a permission for you to unmute yourself.
Yes, please, Mr. Kannan.
Hi, sir. Good evening. Kannan here. Sir, for an ITES industry, how is this act applicable? Is there any exemption, sir? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, just a second, Kannan.
Yeah,
Yes.
their absence. Already I showed you the question also. It is not exclusive for IT industry. It is for any industries, any person whose absence is going to, they create a danger absence. For example, in the heat treatment shop, suddenly you can't stop it. Suddenly you can't start it. I remember long back when one of my company where I worked, there was a heat treatment shop. So you can't suddenly close it. So there it will be danger to close immediately. That is real danger. Or operation of very critical thing which you cannot stop. Only those things in terms of the process they have given, in terms of the activity they have given, they have not given exemption based on the industry. They have not given exemption. IT industry, manufacturing like that, there is no exception. Exemption is given based on the nature of work available for them.
Karthikeyan, please unmute.
Yeah, myself Pramila.
Yes, madam.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, is the election paid holiday can be counted as a man days?
Election holiday?
Can be counted as a man days worked?
Man days.
Yeah, total man days worked. Like for finding out the eligibility for leave.
Eligibility for?
Leave. So the election.
Yes, it is. All paid holidays are considered. Now, if you see, for example, these things, you have to look at the definition. For example, if you are on ITS industries, what are the days to be calculated to arrive at the leave days? It is very clearly mentioned in that particular act. It will vary from state to state again. That respective act, you should check it out, which are all the days to be counted. Normally, all paid holidays are considered for counting purpose.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Karthikeyan.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
So
please.
in some cases, like a management will not accept to give the paid holidays. In that case, sir, and some scenarios, the employees himself, like for local elections, it is decided whether to give or not to give by the management. But
Okay.
in some cases, management is not ready to give. In that case, sir.
If a question is relating to law, I have an answer. If you're asking a generic, if somebody is not doing like this, I'm not a policeman, I'm not an authority to decide on that. But I'll tell you one
Okay.
small recent example I have read in a WhatsApp group. In a one particular day, it's actually I've read it. It's not an actual incident. It is just a comedy, but it has got a lot of meaning. One fine day, there were people going on a road. A signal is there in front of them. There are about 4 or 5 people are there. One person, suddenly he actually triggered and started moving, crossing signal. By that one person crossing, all 4 or 5 people also started crossing. After few meters away, the traffic police is standing and catching people who are all crossing signal. Then they asked, they have left only the first person. They left only the first person alone. So the first person, then the other people have asked policeman, it seems, why did you allow this first person? You are catching us only. Then they said, it seems, he's our marketing agent. So he's our person, tempting you to skip the law. Again, if you are violating that also. So you can't say that somebody is violating, you have a right to take it and all. It's a violation of law, is a violation. You don't have a right to do that. So that is what available. Some employers doing and all. The penal consequences impact everything. I have shown it in the screen. That is applicable for them.
So one more question.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you said that you are for a few cases, like if it may cause any danger or it may cause substantial loss to the business, means we can continue that work on that particular day. Should we have to inform any authority in prior so that so many number of employees plan to work on that election?
It is not specifically mentioned like that in the law act as such, but you can also check every state electoral officer has released a notification. In that, are they mentioning about it? But on a safer side, communicating through email to those respective officers will really fence you a lot. It's a right practice, I would say, good practice. Though it is not mentioned in the law, it will fence you. When people are coming, you can always show that this is what actually we have already communicated to the electoral officer on.
So in case if any workplace accident happens on that day, can we go for a claim under the Employee Compensation Act?
So everything is, other laws as it is applicable. This law is asking you to mandating only holiday. Other laws as it is applicable, whichever provision applicable under the Employee Compensation Act, ESA Act, other provisions continue to apply, subject to your working on that day. But your working on that day should be justifiable. That usage of exception clause to be rarest of rare cases. Rarest of rare cases. It should not be.
Madhumita,
You can't use that for every time. You can't use that for every employee. You cannot use that clause. It should be of rarest rare cases. Using that.
Thank you.
I have a question. Madhumita here. I have a question. Like, how is it applied to international employers or employees who belongs to other nations who doesn't have a voters ID card here in India? Assuming I have an employee from Nepal, he's a Nepali, so he's working in a company in night shift. So, if at all I need to shut down the organization, can I able to give him a work from home? So that I can still run the operations and still keep my office closed. I work in IT park,
so this law is talking about person who is having voting rights. You should give a paid holiday. That's where law stops at that stage. Doesn't speak beyond that.
Okay.
So it is your discretion to ask them to work in a different way. Everything is different. But what law says in this context is it is not stopping you from engaging person who is not having a voting rights on that day. Not about even foreigners, even for our Indians itself, if they don't have voting rights on that day, engaging them is not barred by law. So if you can apply the same to the international workers also. So it is not barring you, it's not stopping you from engaging people who doesn't have voting rights, but you should properly validate and confirm they don't have voting right, then you can continue. If they are hiding also, you'll be in trouble. So you should be very clear when you are engaging them, they don't have voting rights, only then you can continue to do.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Sir, what about the electricians and security guards, sir? We need to deploy them in a 365 days.
Job-wise, I will not be able to categorize and list it to you. There is no description available in the law, which is the job endangering, which is critical for further definition is not given. that should be left to your wisdom and prudence, because you know the nature of work, you know the nature of duty. So as an employer or employer representative, you are the right person to judge, and you should be justifiable in the eyes of law when there is a question coming.
Sir, what is the rule applicable for employees working in a hybrid or remote mode? Is giving few hours off for casting the vote would suffice the purpose, or even the remote working and hybrid working employees should be given a paid holiday?
Paid holidays applicable for the irrespective of the place. If they are having voting right in that region, they have to be given holiday.
A few hours off will not serve the purpose.
No, it will not serve the purpose.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I have two questions. So what about, first question is, what about the, whether do I need to declare if in case of our organization has been declared as a public utility services organization? That is first question. And second question, you were telling that, quoting some example on e-treatment organization where they compulsory they need to operate. Is there any list of that process where it needs, like it requires to be continual of operations and also?
Chetan, there are two questions you are asking. One is public utility service. Public utility service is defined for the purpose of Industrial Disputes Act, which doesn't talk about the paid holiday of election. So we can't have that as an option, number one. Second is, I just gave an example. That's why I was very careful in giving an example. So it is clearly left to the prudence and wisdom of the employer to determine which is so critical, so endangering, if their stoppage of work will affect the business or it leading to loss. That has to be determined by the employer on his prudence and wisdom, and it should be justifiable in the eyes of law when the question is going to come in front. So there is no such list is available. Predetermined list is not available in the law. It's as per, especially in this law, there is no such predetermined list available.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I have two questions. One is, what if the person is entitled to vote but does not vote? It could be because they are in another constituency, they don't want to travel and vote. Then in that condition also, do they get a paid holiday because they're not voting but they're eligible to vote?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, madam?
If a person is eligible to vote but does not vote, does not cast the vote, because it could be the constituency is in some other place, doesn't want to travel up till there, so does not want to vote.
India has not still come up with a law saying that voting is compulsory. It is not there in the law. It is only left to the discretion of the individuals as on today. But we encourage everybody, educating them by how they have, what is the need necessary to be cast their democratic vote. So that is out of your purview. As an employer, you are mandated to give a paid holiday if they have a voting right on that particular day. It is not legally mandated that you have to validate and give only leave on that day after voting only. That is not option given to you. Election holiday, give the paid holiday. That is the mandate given to the employers.
Okay. And the other question is, if there is critical work and if a person needs to work, like public holiday, if a person needs to work, there is a provision of double pay comp off. Suppose for critical work, a person needs to work on election day, do we have to give double pay or comp off?
I think I have explained this during the Kahoot. No such option is available because the specific purpose of giving holidays to exercise the democratic rights. Narayan, would you like to go on mute, please? Thank you. So the purpose of this holiday is to permit them to go or exercise their democratic rights. So other than that, there is no other reason beyond that. So giving compensation, giving other options is going to meet the expectations of this law. It's not going to meet the expectations of this law. There is no such provision for a compensatory or for a overtime payment and all under this law.
Okay, understood.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, we have employees in different states. So we are going to declaring holiday on that.
Sorry, I lost your voice.
Sir, we are having a workers at different states, sir.
Okay.
So is that like no, Andhra, Orissa, and West Bengal? That so we have to identify and give on particular date which the poll is happening there, or
Technically speaking, that is what law says. Technically speaking, that's what law says. You have to give them voting on that polling day of them. Individual. It is an individual specific right. It's not talking about closing of establishment or something. It's talking about individual right of polling right on that day. So technically speaking, you are expected to give the holiday for them on the day of their election where they are supposed to vote.
Myself, Prajesh. Can you hear me? Hello.
Hello. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Prajesh here, sir.
Yes.
Sir, do we have any chances for postal votes?
Sorry?
I'm wrong. Postal votes. Do we have eligible for postal votes? Yeah, we able to cast our
I
vote
don't think
through
so.
postal?
I don't think so. It talks about polling vote, I think, for the people who are all doing the election duty, people who are performing, and people above 80 years, something like that. But I don't see such options available for employees who are all doing duty. That option is not there. I have not seen that.
Okay. Thanks.
Sir,
I have a question.
Yes, please, ma'am.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
This is a hypothetical.
One of the other participants.
Anyone? Let's go with Kavita. Harish.
All right. Thank you. In fact, the question that I wanted to ask is already, mentioned in the chat window also. I just wanted to understand the legal implications. What if an organization declares a paid holiday on the election day and then after a couple of months compensates on a weekend, not necessarily saying it is a compensation. I'm not talking about compensatory off. I'm talking about a compensation in lieu of the paid holiday and then making another weekend, one another day as a working day. What are the legal implications when organizations do that?
No. See, paid holiday is a paid holiday. This law doesn't talk about giving a compensation or something and working on another day is not allowed. Paid holiday means it's a holiday. Compensating this on this holiday, for this holiday, compensatorily working for this holiday will not be a right approach.
I understand. I certainly understand it's not the right approach, but if at all, if there are organizations which does that, what could be the potential legal implications?
It indirectly, if you see that technically you are not given a leave for them. Technically, you are not given a paid holiday for them, no? Provisions of penal provisions as applicable equivalent to that only, no? Technically, law says you have to give it. So because it's a central parliamentary law, the law is very clearly mandating that you to give a paid holiday. And you are actually indirectly you are taking that paid holiday, definitely the penal provision will be applicable for you.
Thank you.
Hi, Arun here, sir. So do we have any process that we need to take an approach of getting the exemption for?
That's what in the law, it is not given. I already answered this. The law is that such provision is not given. You may check the state notification. Is that something mentioned? My suggestion would be, if it is not mentioned also, it's better to give the list of employees, what nature of work they are doing. Advance, you can communicate to the respective electoral offices and either take an acknowledgement or send it to them so that but it's a fencing, it's guarding yourself. When somebody is coming, you can always tell that already we have communicated.
Got it. So that will not have any implication with the labor department.
You can't say that. Sometimes authorities comes and file the case. Then in the eyes of law, in the court, when your proceedings happening, you should be able to go and prove that, no, we have actually already communicated. This will be a supporting document to help you to prove your side.
Understood. Thank you.
Good evening, Indra sir.
Good evening.
Yeah. Usually, if any organization is not giving paid holidays to the employees, we have discussed that there will be penalty and some other things. Who can complain about that organization?
See, normally in election date, no, almost every government offices are electoral offices. The control is completely going to the election, the election commissioners. So they, under that act, whoever is authorized, normally it will be revenue department, as I've seen, they notify based on that these officers are in charge, means even other officers, if they are notifying for this purpose, they will be empowered to do that. Normally it is revenue officials. But
usually
election commissioner will have
if it is an election
right.
day, they will also be there for casting their vote. Sir, who will exactly, who has, maybe any common man can complain about some neighboring office.
I've seen
something like that.
Government offices are also, see, for example, it's like this. There is a speed limit is mentioned. 80 kilometers. A person is going on a 90 kilometer speed, then the policeman has to go in 100 to catch him. At least 91 kilometer. We can't say that policeman is violating law there. If you have to catch somebody who's traveling beyond the speed limit, he has to cross that limit, only he can catch it. So like that, the authorities, they will exercise their purpose. And also I have seen companies where on the election day, the labor department people have visited personally, and they have also taken cognizance of that and taken further course of action. I've seen that. They do that.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Good evening, sir. Sanjay Kumar.
Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah, I'm listening. Yes, please.
Can we run the factory? If a factory running 3 into 8, 24 into 7, like that software company, after polling time, how can we run the factory?
Sachin, again, this question is coming same. So law, what is given in the law, I'm clarifying to you. How do you apply is the ability of yours. What law is saying, these are all the exemptions given under the law is, one is by stopping that work, there is a danger or substantial financial loss. Those cases, you have an exemption for them to declaring holiday for that kind of nature of work alone. So like that, they have mentioned. But the further detailing of definition on this line is not given in the law. So it is left for you to how to interpret, how to get things done on this to move on. If it is real cause, I'm sure nobody is going to do that. But is it a real cause and rarest of rare operations? You are going to do that. You have to really exercise that. Because even then I'm saying authority can file a case against you. You have to go in the court of law and there you have to prove it. Because the substantial one, then finally court will decide, is it really substantial one loss or not? Court will decide, one case is filed against that. Also, there is a bad publicity also, it's available.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, Rajshakhar this side.
Yeah.
So please, please go by the hand raises, please. As everybody have already been on the line.
Sir, do we have?
Go ahead. Kaushik Vyas?
Yeah, so good evening, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible very much.
Yeah, sir, I think you have given a very clear picture. And from the questions, I also understand that on, say, for an example, in Gujarat, there is 7th May is the polling date. And on 7th day, we have to give paid holidays. And we cannot adjust with the weekly off also. Say for weekly off is Sunday. And we get work done on Sunday and we'll keep weekly off shifted to on 7th. So that is not in Act is available. So that provision is say, no, we cannot do that. We have to give paid holidays by anyhow for the every employee who having voting rights. I think this is very clear, sir. Thank you so much for your giving clarification on this thing, sir.
Thank you. Yes. Aruli, I have muted people so that you can one by one, you can unmute them actually. Otherwise, everybody is unmuting. It's a lot of disturbance. So you can go one by one. Whoever raise the hand, you can go there and unmute them.
Actually, they can, I think they can unmute themselves.
No, that option I have removed it.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, please. Yes, Ajay.
सर मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है कि आपने वो तो मेरे को क्लियर बता दिया था कि मतलब काफी बार की पेड हॉलिडे कंपलसरी है, लेकिन मेरा ये क्वेश्चन है कि
Ajay, if you can speak in English, everybody will be able to understand. In terms of diversity, we also should help everybody to understand the question and answer, please. Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, in case of danger or substantial loss, we keep some employees on the duty on the day of electoral or on the day of voting. So in that case, whether we have to give them double payment as per other OTs, or it will be payment will be the same.
Law is not mentioning about it. ROP Act is not talking about double pay and all. But explore the options, how we can give them a time off to go and vote, even if it is rarest of rare cases when you are engaging them as per this law. Explore the option to time off to go and vote and come back.
Okay. And we have to give them full day holiday, right?
I think we have discussed this huge number of times, please.
Sir, okay, and night shift, we have to give holiday to night shift. So, okay, you have mentioned that answer, you have given that answer. Okay, so, okay, my work. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Benson can ask your question. Earlier, you have to mute one by one and ask them to unmute.
Sir, good evening.
Good evening.
My question is, see, actually, like on the day, I mean, in Karnataka, we have got 2 polling days. So on the 26th, the company is giving the paid holiday for all its employees. And there are other employees who is from the others, I mean, within Karnataka from other taluk, which has got other dates. So as an employer, does the employer have the rights to state that since an employee is residing in Bangalore from the long time, the employee was supposed to transfer his voting to Bangalore? Does the employer, can insist that?
No. That's not our job. That's not our job, right? It is their discretion. Individuals have to decide. That's legal. Also not mandating that you have to transfer like a vehicle more than 6 months. If you are running a different state, you have to change the registration number of vehicle like that. It's not a legal mandate. It is their discretion. I don't know what specifically law says about, but we are not the authority to mandate that.
Okay, done. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Basically, I'm a labor law reasonably connected. And especially on election day, which I saw it makes relevance, I got a deep dive into this particular section alone. I've not gone through the other provisions of this particular law.
Matthew, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Sir, as per the Representation of People Act, the penalty clause, if you see, it says the maximum punishment can be extended to 500 rupees. Right? So apart from this, there is no other penalty, right? Even let's say if I allow, there might be a situation where the employees have to be work at my establishment. I might allow them to work and then pay that 500 rupees penalty, right?
So good that you are not asking in advance, shall I pay that penalty and do it. There is one comedy in Tamil movie like that, making offense, then paying an advance penalty for that. No, see, that's why deliberately I have not shown the penalty cost. Because you have to understand, see, we are all law-abiding citizens. We are in a democratic country. We should actually think in this direction itself, I would not recommend. Think that in perspective, how do I actually, because 500 is easy you're thinking, but the kind of damage is going to happen for the reputation of the company. It will definitely come in the press and media. What's going to happen? So that way I would say, but if you are actually taking that risk of, okay, I will pay the penalty, I'll do the mistake offense means it's left for you. That I cannot really comment on that. But penalty is only 500. I agree. But taking the risk, when the session like this, I don't think I'll be able to answer that question. So law is actually giving only 500 penalty.
Yeah, my intent here was like the penalty has to be increased so that the employees basically comply to that. Shouldn't have 5,000.
Either I'm a member of parliament, nor I'm going for the parliament now. So I don't have authorization to create a law like this. So I'm not the right person to answer this question.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Kuda Rajasekhar. Aruli, where are you? Just
sir, I'm here.
Next person, you have to automatically unmute them and ask them to speak. We will save the time.
Sir, do we have any law which discuss about paid holiday on the day of panchayat and municipal elections?
I have not seen that. I have not seen such provision.
The state government can take the decision, sir, in this?
State government, if there is a provision, given, for example, state government of Tamil Nadu, they have added national festival holidays, they amended, adding one more line for public holiday. Option is reserved with the government. If there is such empowerment is given to the government or authorities to declare that through a law, then they can do that process. Like that, every state government may have that provision, but I have not seen in many places like that. But if, provided there's a provision available in any law, they will declare like that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Vasil Anand, Aruli, where are you, Aruli? Call out the name, unmute them, and tell them, Aruli.
Yes, sir. Could you hear me, sir?
Good evening.
Yeah, yes, busy.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Basil, please. Yeah.
Sir, nothing, sir. It's a small doubt only. You clarified, but I'm asking that.
I know the same question people are asking in a different way. Whichever I answered through the Kahoot also,
Not like that, sir. We have the migrant workers with us. Around 20% of people is migrant workers. So we are declaring holiday on 19th of Tamil Nadu for Tamil Nadu election. So we can make them to work on that day. On particular election day of Odisha, for assembly election on Odisha, we can make that leave for them to avail them now, sir. So in order to not to give on that day, particular day, 19th of April.
It's again, I'm reaffirming the same statement. Every employee, it is an individual specific right. So on wherever he's having a vote, that voting day, he should declare holiday, paid holiday.
Okay.
Right?
Myself, Pramila. So just the question may sound hypothetical. If the elector has got voting rights in 2 different electoral constituency, so which one we have to decide and we have to go, because we can find so many number of employees migrating from one state to another. So in the meantime, they would have got all the Aadhaar and voter card. So they may have, in case, 2 state voter ID also. So in that case, which one to decide?
We are not
legally speaking.
We are not the authority to explore into that, whether they have a single voting, voting and all. If they have that right document to prove that they have a voting right on that particular day, you should proceed with that. If that, there are different authorities to handle that. See, always I say like this. See, for example, for a marriage solemnizing is done by Prohit, by priest in the church, everybody. But they don't have a right for giving divorce. There is a different authority for that purpose. So the authority here as an employer, we have been mandated to give a holiday, provided if he is able to establish a document to show to us that they are having a voting right on that day. That's where our job ends, our duty. We don't have a right to penalize people for other reasons, for which different authorities are there. They are not supposed to have, you should educate them as an employer also. They are not supposed to have that. Ask them if they have to, tell them to fix it that right. As an employer, you can guide them.
Yeah, thank you.
Aruli is sleeping, huh? Okay. Unmute. Okay. Sahana, unmuted.
Good evening, sir. This is
Yes, ma'am.
Sahana.
Yes, ma'am.
So I have a small doubt that if a person or a contract person or an employee who is on prolonged leave, for example, if he is present in April 2 and then he is coming back on April 26, whether he is eligible for a paid holiday?
Can you repeat the question, madam, please?
If a person is on a prolonged leave, for example, if he is present in April 2 and then he have been taken a leave, then again he is coming on 26th. So if he is eligible for a PH.
I know where you are coming actually. For example, to avail a national virtual holiday, previously you should have worked some 30 days, something like that. Conditions are there in different states like that. In this law, it doesn't talk about it. This day of polling should be given a paid holiday. It doesn't talk about prayer, prefix, suffix, what happened earlier, what happened and all. On the day of polling day, you should give a paid holiday for them.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Pramila Palaniswamy is here. Pragdishwaran is there. Sahana, you can lower your hand if you are not having question. Others can raise the hand if you have a question. We'll close it with another 2 questions. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Sir, Pragdish here. Can you hear me?
Yes, please. Yes.
Sir, I have one doubt. Sir, now everyone knows that we are engaging internships from ITI and diplomas.
Sorry, your voice is not clear, Pragdishwaran. Your voice is not clear.
So your voice is not audible.
Right now I'm in the public sector. Right now we don't.
Pichekanu, you are unmuted. You can speak up. Pichekanu.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, good evening, sir. Actually, we have a diversity of people in our company, from different states. You already answered that through the respective polling date, we have to declare holiday for the employee. For some of my question is something different. For some of the employee who are not ready to go to their native to cast their vote, are we allow them to work in the company on that particular polling date?
Voting day, whether they go for voting or not going for voting, it is not our job. Polling date, their choice of date for polling, we should declare paid holiday for the individuals.
Okay. Right. Got it, sir. So due to some deliverable, can we allow them if they are okay to work in the company?
Again, actually, it is not allowed. No? You have to give a paid holiday.
Okay.
You have to give a paid holiday for them.
Right.
Or
Thank
take
you.
a declaration from them stating that I don't have a voting on this particular day. That declaration they should give it if it is not there.
Okay. Got it, sir. Thank you.
No, all these things, what I'm saying is in the eyes of law, you should be able to, in the judicial power who is going to have take a cognizance of this case, you should be able to establish your facts and figures that time. Pichekanu. Gajalakshmi, madam, yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Gajalakshmi, ma'am, you are unmuted already.
Gajalakshmi, ma'am.
Pragadishwaran, you can also unmute, otherwise you can ask your question.
Sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Sir, I have only one question. Sir, right now we are engaging internship from ITA, local ITA.
Are you working on two instruments, or are there people close to you also connected?
Sir, I couldn't able to get it. What is that?
Have you logged in two instruments? Or anybody also sitting next to you joining the same session? Because we are getting echo.
No, sir. I mean, outside, sir. That's not the problem. I didn't able to do any silent. That's the problem. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Pragdesh, not able to hear anything. Maybe you can type it in the chat box. Our friends can read out for you.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Gajalakshmi, ma'am, you have tried to unmute. You are not unmuted. Anybody else in the chat box, they are asking for unmute. Only you can check it out. Otherwise,
yes, sir.
5:15 we can wind up.
Mostly it's done, sir. Everybody who have requested for the access had been given.
Otherwise, any question on chat box not answered also, you can, if it is answered, you can leave it. Madam, Gajalakshmi ma'am, I have answered this question already. Traveling, you are not required to give a paid holiday, only on the day of polling. Right. Thanks a lot, friends, and thank you for your time and efforts, and especially thanks the NHRD TRICHY team, NHRD Coimbatore team, NHRD HOSUR team, Dindigul HR Forum teams for organizing this, and Avinash from NHRD headquarters for supporting us in the Zoom provisions. Thank you very much. Over to Ponmalar Aruli team. Yes, please.
Good evening to all. I feel privileged to deliver my vote of thanks at this webinar on election holiday legal perspective. I would like to express my special thanks to Dr. Israel Imbra sir for this valuable session and answers for all our clarification. I wish to thank our NHRD Coimbatore chapter, HOSUR chapter, and the TRICHY chapter, and also DDHRF executive committee members for organizing this program in the great manners. I express my heartfelt thanks to all HR delegates from various industries for participating in this program. Thank you all.
Session was very informative. Thank you.
Thank you, friends, once again. See you all. There is one link is shared by Mr. Amir in the chat box. You can join if you want to get a legal update relating to all labor law updates. The provision is available. People who wants to get a regular labor law update without any other what do I call? Any other good morning, good evening messages exclusive for the labor law updates and training programs. You are welcome to join clicking that link. Link is shared in the chat box here. Already shared. Once again, he's going to share now. Just click the link, you can join if you wish to join. If you want